All right, a lot of friends have asked me what I take when I travel internationally or just when I travel via airplane to different events or just vacations and flying spots. Um, and so I kind of wanted to cover that in a video so people are informed on how you can fly and not get hassled by TSA or look like, a bad guy by everyone else who's on the plane. So I'll go through what I bring in my bag and show you how I do it. And I just recently got back from a trip. I did Germany, Switzerland, Italy, and Austria, and I had no problems at any of those getting in and out of any of those places. And I went through a lot of security checks and TSA and border control and all that stuff. So I'll go through that now. On the side of the bag, I've got hooked on here my neck pillow. You know, you only want to bring this if you want to look like a tourist, but there's that. This is the Think Tank FPV airport helipack. So this is specifically made for this type of trip when you're taking your drones with you on the airplane. It fits in the overhead luggage. It protects your stuff very, very well, and it also doesn't kill your back. Previously, I was using the Skypack. I'm sure you've heard of this. A lot of people use the Skypack. This has a giant bin on top like that, and then on the inside it's got compartments. What it doesn't have is a ton of padding or reinforcements on the back, and it's so big that what ends up happening, the bag kind of bends and flexes this back pad, and you end up just getting your back hurts after you've carried all your shit to the airport for even a couple hours. I really didn't like this bag after taking it on a couple trips. In the top section, keep this kind of light. I've got all my cables, my charging cables, and the ones for my GoPro and to program my drone. Up on the top here in the Velcro section, FPV airport helipack. All right, so I got my what is this? My sanitizer there strapped to the handle, because when you're traveling, you're gonna run into all kinds of nasty stuff, and I like to keep the hands clean. All right, so anyway, on top, you got your cables and any kind of like medicine, whatever you might need for on the plane. And then in this pocket, I've got my tablet. Now, I was sticking a bunch of stuff in here and kind of filling this area, but what happens is you go through security, and what she's going to do is sometimes they'll take and look at your stuff, and they'll flip this open, take a look, then they'll flip the whole thing open. And what happens is anything in that top section gets tossed out. If you got your passport or your ID or your tickets, all that shit just gets dumped out the side of the bag. Even the tablet will come out if they flip it open, and that's happened a few times. So I try to keep this top section as empty as possible. Even this can be a problem if you don't have that Velcroed up. That stuff will spill out everywhere and just cause a mess. What I try to do is instead put that stuff in these zipper pockets. Now, you can't fill these too bulky if you're putting large items down here, because if you got a big lump here and a big lump here, the bag gets all janky and pushed out and flexes your tablet or your laptop or whatever you got in there. So I'd avoid filling that area and just try to use these top pockets where you have room. All right. Now inside, I try to keep all my batteries in one of these lipo safe, like fireproof bags. The same false sense of security they give you when you're charging, they also give the TSA agents that same security. So, obviously these aren't going to save much if your batteries were all catch on fire in here. But if you have them stored in here and TSA goes to look through your stuff and they come across this, at least it looks like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He is using the proper bag or whatever. Another thing I like to do for even the batteries in here, every battery on all these has the XT60 with a plug over top of it, as you can see there, and then it's got the balance lead taped down so that nothing could come in contact with those leads. And all the batteries in here should be done that way. It looks like some of the XT60 plugs have fallen off, but essentially just like that, taped down with the plug on it. And I've got all those done that way in there. And then I can't fit all of my lipos in that one bag. I think I brought 12 lipos on this trip, and some of them are huge. Like I've got my big 5S batteries here. These guys. So some of these 2200 5S won't really fit in there too well. So what I do is same treatment. Got the plug on the end. Got the electrical tape holding the lead down so it's not getting in contact with anything. And then I put those vertically in there, so I can fit 2 of them side by side, 2 of the other big 5S ones side by side here. And then I also have in the front. So again, you know, a lot of things you're gonna need while you're at the airport or whatever traveling. You want to keep in this bag because you're not going to be getting into your checked bag too often. So things like sunglasses I put in here. I also have this guy, the Think Tank. They have mangled this in security, but the Think Tank 4 battery pack. These are kind of nice. If you have enough of these, you can put all your batteries in there here and then pack them nicely. You can fit 2 there, and I think 2 there nicely in the bag. But again, every battery's done this way. It's got the protection on the XT60, and it's got the battery balance lead taped down. And I don't know, you know, you could probably get through security just fine not doing that, but I think that when you take the extra effort, they see that and they immediately just send you on through. They're not giving you much of shit about it. I have previously done it where I didn't tape them down, and they took me over to like the bomb swabbing section, and we're like swabbing all the batteries, and it was like, it's kind of scary, bit of a pain in the ass. Everyone's looking at you like you're a terrorist. I didn't like that. I'm trying to avoid that. So there's all my batteries, and then in the middle section, I kind of just piled in. I brought three different drones with me, and I basically just stacked them in here. And this one, I've got 2 6-inches and a 5-inch, which is, you know, that's pretty big. The 6 inches have a wide stance, and it's hard to fit them in this bag. I probably maybe could have gone vertically, but you can see they just stick out so far. So I usually just pile them in there. I take the biggest one and set it down, and then I kind of just wiggle the other 2, and they'll sit in there nice. And then what I do is I take all my extra like peripheral stuff, like the GoPro. This is the Think Tank GoPro bag. So it's got a pocket on one side for the sessions or your larger GoPros, and on the other side, it's got a place for all my SD cards up here in the zipper packet so I don't lose them. And then you can stick your GoPro, the regular GoPro batteries, or even like memory card readers and stuff in the pockets here. I do that just because losing an SD card is just such a pain in the ass, especially when you've got some epic footage on it from some country you may not ever go back to. So I use that, and I stuff all that stuff kind of around all the drones. And then there's really nothing else in here. I've got like some rubber battery protectors, and then some Velcro straps, and just some random stuff. In this pocket, I've got the Think Tank Helipack rain cover guard, and then I've got my goggles. And I keep my goggles in the, you can see there, I've got the goggles with the RC Craze back strap, and then I take my 2 antennas and I stick them in that space. And I keep my goggles in this all the time when I'm traveling. Even when I'm just going to race, I keep them in this. I don't just throw them in the bag. They're one of the most expensive things you buy when you get into racing, and you want to take care of it. And here I've got my radio, and I've got the gimbal protector on it with crossfire. And I don't know if that's bad, I usually just kind of fold this over a little bit here. I don't know if you can see that. I kind of fold that over a little bit, and then slide it in. It fits pretty good in there. It's not getting smashed. I've done this for quite a while now, not had any problems with it, but that's pretty much it. You notice I don't have any tools in here. I don't have any props. I don't have anything that could be deemed a weapon, I guess, because the last thing I want to do is get pulled aside because they found a pair of scissors or side cuts, or God forbid, like a box cutter or something from your tools in here. All that stuff comes out. I pile all that shit in my my check baggage. My check baggage has everything. Like I had my Clearview ground station in there. It's got my all my tools, all of my propellers, spare parts, all put in bags. All that stuff. Charging cables for the Tyrannus. Pretty much anything else that you think you would need, I don't put in this. I try not to keep this too heavy. In fact, I would even, if you're trying to take out some of the weight, I would even store even some of these in your checked bag. I mean, we crashed these into the ground at 60 miles an hour. I wouldn't worry too much about them getting broken if you layered them into your clothes in your checked bag. They may get stolen. I highly doubt that, but that's the only really real risk there, is that somebody might snag one out of your bag. But I really don't think that's a high risk. And the real goal is to keep this bag as light as possible. Batteries, especially the 5 and 6S batteries, are extremely heavy. When you pack 20 of them in this bag and you have to carry it, through 3 different stops or something, and you're running through the airport with this on your back, man, it really weighs you down, and you get to your final destination pretty damn tired. So I would say try to remove as many things from this bag as you can that don't need, protected, like batteries, your goggles, your radio, your tablet, and then I usually take a hoodie or something for the plane, and I just kind of stuff that down in here on top of this. One other thing I thought of that I had previously done on my trip to Alaska, and I had read this online, is I took, and when I went to the TSA website, and I printed out the LiPo rules, printed them out straight from the website, and then I actually taped them to the back of this bag. And what that does is, if you were to get hassled by one of the TSA agents who doesn't know the rules properly, you're not going to win the fight if they say you can't bring these, and you say, yes, I can, they're inside the rules, they're under so many watt hours, blah, blah, blah. It's like arguing with a cop. You're not going to win that fight. He's the law, and you're not going to really have any say. I mean, you might win in the long term, but you're not winning today. You're not going to get your batteries on that plane or through TSA. So by taping the rules to the back, it kind of just shows that, hey, you've done your research. If there's any question about what's allowed and what's not allowed, it's right here. I think that's a little bit overkill, but the first time I traveled on a plane with my LiPos, I was worried about it. I did it, and when I pulled them out of the bin, I pulled out the batteries, I set them in their own separate bin. That's another thing you need to do too, is when you get to through the line, you're going to want to take out your tablet and every single LiPo from your bag. So what I do is I open up this bag, I pour them into the bin, I set the LiPo safe bag next to it, and then I take all these batteries out of here and I set them aside. If you don't take them out of there, I did miss one, and I didn't take it out of the bag, and when it went through the scan, I got pulled aside, and they opened up my bag, found the one battery, ran that one battery back through. So you do need to make sure you pull all the LiPos. So I basically take every single one of these, and I set all of them in a bin by itself, just in one big bin with all the batteries, and then I take the tablet and set it in another bin. And yeah, that's just the way to do it. And they did actually at one of the airports, they did actually make me take my radio out and run it through to make sure it was cool. But yeah, anyway, the TSA rules. If you're worried about it and you don't want to get hassled at the gate, the last thing you want is to get all packed up for a big trip and get to the gate and have them pull your batteries for some reason, and you can't bring them because that's going to ruin your trip. So it's overkill, but whatever. But that's about it, guys. That's how I pack my bag for these trips, and I've had good success doing it. If you have any suggestions, or you see something I'm doing that I could be doing better, drop me a line in the comments, because I plan on taking many more trips like this, and anything that helps make it a little bit easier is great. Thanks for watching.